Alright guys, next video is on this hose reel. To get it hooked up to my bottles there, you have to run a hose on both sides. So one there and one here, and it comes out and it goes up. Well, I don't like this because it comes straight out, so I bought some 90s that'll thread in there and it'll 90 up. And so what I'm going to do is put those on, and then I have to make, because I'm not going to buy one and I have all the fittings, ferrules, everything that I need. I'm going to make a little 2-foot or 3-foot hose that will go up to each one. So let's do it. Alright guys, so I've got an assortment of parts here that I'm going to be using. As you can see, I already made a hose, but I had the wrong size fittings here. I got these quick connects that I'm also going to be adding on. So I'm going to be showing you how these work, how to install them. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to go ahead and take those off. You have two different ones. One's for oxy, one for acetylene. Your darker one here is for the oxygen. This copper looking one is for acetylene. And they also have different threads. For people who don't know, one's a right hand, one's a left hand. So you cannot mess that up, because if somehow you did, that could be disastrous. Now don't forget, this acetylene is righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. So as you can see, if we're screwing it in, we're screwing it to the left instead of to the right. And on this oxygen, it's opposite. Lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Alright, so first thing we have to do is we got to cut these little crimps off. And the easiest way there's two ways I've found to do this. One is you can just take some pliers and squeeze the heck out of it. But sometimes that's not the easiest. I've had some when you can do that and some you can't. There it goes. Did you hear that break? Once you squeeze it hard enough, it just snaps. Once it snaps, you can just kind of twist it off. After you twist that off, you get it off of there, you just take some box cutters, some wire cutters, whatever, and you just kind of splice into this. And then this will just literally, you just kind of pull towards your slice and it'll come right out. This fitting is not any good anymore because I bent it. I bent it the other day, but I wanted to give y'all a demonstration. I have some extras. So here's well, I say it's a new one, it's not. I have a bunch of these. I keep a bunch of spare parts at all times. And it's a barb fitting, so it just drops in there just like so. And I'll show you what we do with that in a few. Next, we're gonna take this one off. Same process. Squeeze the heck out of it. Maybe. Yeah. See how it just snapped? You just pull that right off. Take our box cutter. There. Remember, just pull it. You might have to peel it off, it's gonna be kind of stuck on there. These have been on there for who knows how long. But you just peel it open like a orange, and it'll come right out. About these hoses is they just tear apart just like that. So this is roughly the length I'm gonna do the oxygen. The acetylene's gonna be about a foot less than this. Now you can see I've already done one, and I used the wrong size ferrule fitting here, so I've got to somehow get this off. So I'm just gonna have to cut that. Just like that. Okay, so. Alright, so I've got another fitting here because I'll need one more because I couldn't save the other one. The thing is, you gotta make sure you don't get all these mixed up, but there's a trick. Now the trick is that these notches mean acetylene. That's for the acetylene side, and the oxygen side does not have any notches. I don't know how well you can see that, but on each one of these little edges there's a notch. That's for acetylene, oxygen. One without notches is your oxygen. So now you can see I've got 2 for acetylene and 2 for oxygen. That's how many I need for each end. Alright, so one of the first things that you're going to do this, we're going to start with the oxygen side, is you're going to get one of your ferrule fittings. You're gonna slide it right over the pipe. So you see what I did wrong on this one is I used the wrong size. This one goes for this size pipe. So you'll get your ferrule fitting here, and since we have our oxygen fitting here, and there's multiple ways you can do this. This sounds weird, I just put a little bit of a spit on the end of these. You can use soapy water, anything that will help this slide into this hose here. So one way I found to make it easy to push this all the way on is to screw something in there and then push, or twist and push, either or. But you'll know when you get there, when you're far enough. Okay, once you do that, there's just a little bit of room that this will wiggle around. You can spin this. I'll get some crimps later for this, but you will crimp that and just, although that barb fitting will hold it on there, but it's better if you crimp it too, just as an extra precaution. So we're gonna do the same to this side. I'm gonna go ahead and put our fitting on there, our ferrule fitting. Get our oxygen side fitting here. Just kind of push it on as far as you can, by hand. Put your little fitting, screw something on the end of there to hold that strong and steady. And then you just kind of start twisting and pushing. All right, that one was a little tougher, but as you can see, that fitting's on there. All right, so this one is basically done. These are ready to be screwed on to my hose reel. So for acetylene, it's the same exact process. We're gonna cut this one about half the length because acetylene bottles are way shorter than the oxygen bottles. So we get our ferrule fitting here. Take our, I don't even know what to call these, you know, your barb fitting. Lubricate it a little bit. Get it in the hose just a little bit. And then twist and push. All right. See how there's just a little bit of wiggling in there? That's perfect. Now you do your other side. Okay, now that one's done. Now the way these quick connects work is this particular set of quick connects goes from the hose to the regulators. And yes, they are different. So you'll take your acetylene quick connect male end and put it on one end. Tighten that up just a little bit. It ain't got to be super tight. Okay. On one end. See, you only do it on one end. Take your oxygen, put it on the other. Same thing, tighten it up, don't have to be super tight. As you can see, one on one side, not on the other. Now on these regulators, you're going to take your other fittings, and you can tell an acetylene regulator because at least this one only goes 0 to 30. But it has a red line at 15 because you do not want to go over 15. That's way too much. I keep mine around 10. I would never suggest even going anywhere near 15. I don't know of any applications that would require that. Maybe something like major. I don't know, but I wouldn't do that. But for this quick connect, you just screw it on up here. Give it a little tighten up. And as you can see, it now just pushes in. That's it. Push in, push out. Push in, push out. Super simple. Oxygen regulator. Same, well, it's different. Mine goes 0 to 100. And depending on what I'm cutting, it will depend on where I put my my pressure. So I typically keep it between 20 and 35. It just depends on what I'm cutting, how thick it is, you know. That's really just what it depends on. So this one, same thing, screw it on, tighten it up a little bit. This one I make it a little bit tighter because those aren't going to be coming off ever. I want to make sure that they're sealed. And just like the acetylene, Push in, pull out. Push in, pull out. Easy peasy. Just like that. So these were the fittings that I had on the hose reel. Again, one is left-hand threads, one is right-hand threads. When they were in like this, the hoses came straight out. We want to 90 them. So, but on one side is a flared fitting, left hand, right hand. Flip them over and they are NIP, which is, or NP, what is it, NPI? NPT, I'm sorry, National Pipe Thread. They're just regular threads, right hand threads. So I've got two of these fittings here that both of these will screw into on either side. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some thread sealant and I'll put some liquid thread sealant around the ends of both of these so to seal them up from here to here and from here to the hose reel. Well, I put way too much, but that's okay. We're gonna take this thread sealant, put it on there, and screw it onto our fitting here. I'm actually gonna go use my vise and tighten this around, tighten my vise around this, and then screw this on. I'm gonna do that for both of these. Okay, so you can see I got those screwed on now, and I'm going to put them on the hose reel now. Alright, so as you can see there's a fitting here, or a threaded insert, female, I call that like a female insert, where this will thread in, this will thread in just like that, except I got the wrong side. I'm gonna use thread sealant on this as well, but as you can tell, this will just thread in just like that, and that gives me a 90. So for this one, I wanted it pointed down because I want my hose to come down and underneath and up to my tank, to my bottle there. I don't know why I didn't just open this. I made it like this for a reason. And this one I'm just gonna have pointing straight up like that. All you do is you screw in your hoses. Tighten them up just a little bit. Don't gotta be very tight. Okay, as you see, you just put on your regulators, tighten them up just a little bit. Same for these, righty-tighty on the oxygen and lefty-tighty on the acetylene. I mean, they want to make sure that you do not mess this up, because if you do, you're had. And again, at that point, you just take your fitting, push it in there, just like that. And for this one, just like that, easy. I don't know the last time this hose reel was actually used, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna purge it. So what that means is I'm gonna open the valve and blow this out just a little bit. See all that coming out? Now we're gonna do the same with the acetylene. Okay. Now next thing we're gonna do, I have these quick connects. I have these quick connects for my torch. It's the same exact concept. These are about $65, but they are 100% worth it. So, same thing. Oxygen, black. Acetylene is your copper looking color. Just screw one side on there, like so. And like so. Tighten it up. Ain't gotta be super tight. And you do the same thing here for your oxygen and acetylene. Lefty tighty, righty loosey on the acetylene, righty tighty, lefty loosey on the oxygen. I don't know what I'm doing here. Tighten that up, ain't got to be super tight. And now, you have your quick connects hooked up. And the good thing about this is that you can actually turn everything on without having to have the torch hooked up. You can take this, leave these on there because they're a back pressure valve. They won't allow any air through. And you can go turn on your bottles without having to mess with that. So now that those are on, you can come in and you can push them both on like so. Now this is called a striker, and what this is used for, this is used to strike your to get your torch lit. I don't know how to explain that. This one's pretty dang old, so it doesn't work right off the bat like always. But you just turn on your acetylene. Doesn't have to be. See how I barely turned that open? Right there, you're ready to cut. And when you turn it off, rule of thumb is to do your oxygen first and then acetylene. And what that does is that helps keep you from getting flashback. All right, so what will happen is once you get your torch lit up like so, and you start your oxygen, and you go to turn it off, if you turn off your acetylene first, well, a lot of times you'll get it'll backfire, it'll back pop, or you'll get a back pop or flash, whatever you want to call it. And what that can cause, a fire to go back through all the way up to your tanks, could cause an explosion. So a lot of these newer ones have a like a flash arrestor built into them. I don't think this one does. I don't know, it might, I don't know. But yeah, that's how all this works. And when you're done, you can literally unhook it like so, and when you're done with it, you just roll it back up. Like that, and that's it. And with these, you don't have to worry about water getting in there, because they're back pressure valves basically, so they seal off anything from going in, and they'll only open up when there's when they're connected up to the other ends. So right now nothing can go in or out of it. So actually you could, if you had a greater pressure going in this way, it would actually force itself in, but you're not going, that ain't gonna happen. So these are pretty neat. So yep, that's how that works. Got this all set up how I wanted it. Next thing I'm gonna do is buy some caps for both of these that screw on, that allow you to keep your regulators on at all times. So that'll be one of the next things I buy for this, but I don't use these torches every day or even every week, so I might not even buy them, because all I have to do is screw on these regulators and we're good to go. So anyways, on to the next one.